Casey here with CL Creative, where I'm teaching you web design and Webflow one video at a time. And today we're going to talk about advanced hover effects in Webflow using CSS only. If we want to manipulate two items on the canvas, oftentimes we have to reach for Webflow's interactions, which can potentially bloat our project and hurt our performance. And so today I'm going to show you with just a few lines of CSS in a custom code embed how we can manipulate two different items on the canvas. And this is going to make our projects more performant and just generally easier for us to do than having to worry about managing Webflow's interactions, though they are powerful. So let's jump into the computer and check things out. All right, well, here we are in the computer, and what we're actually going to do is we are going to create this hover effect on top of this card. Now, you're probably thinking that's not difficult. Why do you need to make a video about this? Why do we need custom CSS in order to do this? Well, let me just show you how things are set up. So over here on the inside of my navigator, I've got my blog list basically here, and I've created some cards for those, right? And so inside of this blog item, I have two things. I have a blog card link and I have the actual blog card. And so everything is housed inside or wrapped inside of, or inside of this blog card is everything we have. We have our image, and then we also have all of our content. And the reason why I had to create this link here is because I have another collection list that is nested inside of the first collection list. And Webflow will not allow you to wrap that inside of a link. And so one of the ways that you can get around that is simply by making these two siblings. So this is our parent wrapper, which is our blog post item. And then inside of that, I've put the blog card link, and then I've actually put my blog card, which is housing all of the content. And so I take this item and I want to make sure that it is position relative. And then the blog card link, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to make sure that I put it first. It needs to be first here in this order in order to make what's going to happen next in this video work correctly. But I've put this first, and I'm going to change this position to absolute, and then I'm going to change it to full. So that way it's going to cover the entire card. Now, in my instance, I've actually made a max width on my cards of 23.5 rem. And so I went in and I've changed the card link to be the same max width, just so that it will fit over the card perfectly. And there will be no kind of difference there. All right, so we have that. Now, in order to create this hover effect on the card, what you would normally have to do if you were just going to use Webflow is you would have to reach for the interactions. So you'd have to go into the interactions panel. You would have to create an interaction that whenever you hovered over top of this link will scale, as well as you would then have to target this card right here, and you would have to have that scale as well. Now, you can certainly do that. It's a viable way to make this occur, but in doing so, we are introducing some JavaScript to our project through Webflow's interactions panel, and this can hurt performance at times. Now, probably for some of these blog cards, it's not going to make that big of a difference, but things can add up over time. And so why have to load a JavaScript library on our page if we don't have to? We can easily do this with CSS, and we don't have to manage Webflow's interactions. And so let me show you how I've done that. I've simply just put a embed here on the page, and let me open that up. And here is the CSS. Now I'm going to switch over to my code editor just so that we can see this a little bit better. And so one of the things that we have done, if I go back over here and close this so that we can see everything over here in the style panel as well. So what we have actually done is we are targeting our blog card link, which is the class, and you can see this here in the navigator. And you also have the second class here, blog card item wrapper -- box MD. Now in order to target that in CSS, we need to make sure that we put a dot in front of it. So here we are with our dot. So this is targeting this class. And we are just simply applying to both of these at the same time a transition. And we're going to do a transform of 300 milliseconds with just a normal ease, and then an opacity of 300 milliseconds, which is a normal ease. So this is what we have done first. Now, the second thing that we are doing is in the hover state, right? So in Webflow, what you might typically do is go over here, click on this down arrow, click hover, and then apply a hover effect to the actual link. Now, in our case, we're going to apply that hover effect right here. And so we just use the pseudo selector. and we add the colon and then hover. And we're just going to do a transform scale of 1.01 with an opacity change of 0.85. Now, we probably could get rid of the opacity change because our link doesn't necessarily have to change opacity. We're going to change the opacity of the block card underneath it, but I'm just going to keep it there for now. Now, the next thing that we need to do, and this is kind of where the magic happens, it's a simple selector, but what we're going to do is we're going to apply this transformation to one of the siblings of the block card link hover. And the sibling of that, if we see in here in the navigator panel, is this block card item wrapper -- box MD. This is its sibling. So you can think of this blog post item as the parent. These two are the children, which are going to make these two children siblings of one another. And so the plus sign here is our sibling selector. And so what it's saying is we're going to select the sibling, the immediate sibling of block card link hover, which is going to be block card item wrapper -- box MD. And we're going to transform that with a scale of 1.01, the same as essentially our block card link. And we're going to change the opacity as well. Now, if we had multiple siblings here that we wanted to select with the same class, then what we could do is we could use this tilde. But in our case, all we have is one sibling, and so we're just going to use the plus. And then what we do is we take this code, we go over here to a custom code embed, and we place this in here. We want to make sure we wrap this in style tags, so that way Webflow will know that it's not HTML, but it's actually CSS. We save it, and then as long as we don't have anything else in there, we just have styles in there, no JavaScript, then we will be able to see those effects right here in our canvas inside of the designer, so that you can see this when we publish it, as well as you can see this inside of the designer. So this is a very easy and efficient way to create a hover effect on multiple items without having to reach for Webflow's interactions and infuse JavaScript or inject JavaScript into our project. With just a couple lines of CSS, we are able to accomplish this. Now I'm going to create a blog post with this. I'm going to link this down below so that you can get this code as well as the instructions on how to do that. If you have any questions about that, feel free to place it in the comments, and I'll try to answer those questions that you might have about the setup that I have here. If you have an idea for another video, feel free to place that down in the comment as well. I'll try to make a video for you. Some of the videos that you see me make are indeed come from comments that some of my subscribers and watchers have placed down in the comments. And so I try to make those for you. And if you are interested in learning more about Webflow and web design, then subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell for whenever I put out a new video, which I'm putting out every single week. You'll get notified of that. And lastly, if you found some value out of this video, feel free to smash that like button for me. It definitely helps. Comments and likes on the video help get this video out to other people. Hope to see you in the next one.